health and nutrition expert, vegetarian athlete, and Veggie Brothers founder, Michael Balducci.
More and more people are turning to vegetarian diets and lifestyles to help improve their health, their life, and the world around them. Joining me now to discuss more is Michael Balducci, the president and founder of VeggieBrothers.com and a board-certified holistic health counselor. Michael, thanks for joining us.
Pleasure to be here. Thank you.
Let's talk a little bit about some of the benefits of, a vegetarian lifestyle and becoming vegan.
Sure. Some of the benefits are better longevity, more vitality, more health. Each person's different. I would say that we ought to focus probably on some of the side effects of a non-vegetarian diet, because that's really why people are choosing a vegetarian diet, because of the association with the increased risks of heart disease, cancer, diabetes, obesity, which are costing this country tremendous amounts of millions and millions of dollars. In 1997, the World Health, the Healthcare Administration in 1997 figured that the healthcare costs were $1 trillion. And they estimated at the current rate in 2030 it would be 16 trillion. Right now our budgets can't afford this, and there's so many reasons why we want to switch from a meat-centered diet to a plant-based diet. Some of the problems with the meat-centered diet that we're finding are phenomenally illustrated in a book that came out in 2005 called The China Study. And in this book are some remarkable findings as an Italian American from Queens, New York, I wasn't born a vegan.
Yeah, so you used to be a meat eater. So what changed your mind?
I loved my food, but unfortunately, most meat-centered diets lead us to illness and disease, and the statistics are showing evidence of this. I one day was suffering from panic attacks. I couldn't breathe. I was dizzy. Brought me to my knees, and I was suffering with this. I saw a doctor. I was put on medication for anxiety and depression. I was taking panic attack medication, and I was on it for quite some time, and the side effects were just awful. And I told the doctor, I said, look, I don't want to be on this the rest of my life. And he said to me, well, unfortunately, this is the best thing that we can do for you, and you're going to be on it the rest of your life. And I said, no way, no thank you. I was listening to a guy on the radio named Gary Null. Dr. Gary Null is the most authored individual on holistic health and nutrition in the world. And he was having these, he's also has the longest running radio show in holistic health and nutrition. He was having these detoxification, health rejuvenation classes. I was living in Jersey City at the time. I decided to take the PATH train or drive in, and I met every 2 weeks, and I learned about health and nutrition, things that I wish I was taught in school. I learned about, karma and mind, body, and spirit connections, things that I just wasn't taught. And well, 3 months into the program, I lost 25 pounds, which I did not expect. And by
from cutting meat out alone?
Yes. By the cutting meat out, flooding my body with phytonutrients and phytochemicals, drinking juices. It was a program. It wasn't just don't eat meat. It was, learning all the different things that we need to do to take care of our body. But first and foremost, certainly the focus was on the diet. And at the 9th mark, I was able to wean myself off the medication. So I realized back then that this is something powerful. And I was actually honored with the privilege of teaching the classes for about a year and a half when Gary and the other facilitator, Luann Panesi, a wonderful holistic practitioner and registered nurse, wasn't in town. And that led me to want to learn more information. So I attended the Institute of Integrative Nutrition, where people like Dr. Andrew Weil and Deepak Chopra teach. But all the while, I was suffering a little bit. And I'm going to tell you, and you're probably going to ask, what's the challenges? Yeah,
but so basically your entire lifestyle changed from, you were saying you were cutting out the meats and you're adding things that your body didn't have before, the juices, the phytonutrients. How did your lifestyle change, and how was it difficult a life really without meat?
Yes and no. The no part was I had my back against the wall. And not everyone has their back against the wall. That's why so many people don't change. They're not told, hey, you've got 6 months to live. And oftentimes when people are given you've got this, they start to make changes real quick. I couldn't function. I had to do something. I wanted to take back control of my health. I was so devastated when my doctor told me, there's nothing I can do for you. And I knew in my heart, I knew that was not true. And I was listening to someone who had a different voice. And so I pursued that. So was it difficult? Knowing that I wanted to change, so I was willing to do whatever it took. And yes, in that, I after a while, after I finished the program, after I finished, the education, the Institute of Integrative Nutrition, I was still learning, and I was healthy, but I was starting to feel like there was something missing. And I was tired of alienating all the people around me, because at that time, this was like 12 years ago, there wasn't all these meat substitutes out there. I was eating, broccoli, tofu, and brown rice 3 times a day, 7 days a week. Coming home for the holidays was tough. So I said, I want to do something to bring back the people in my life, because I felt that I got so healthy. I wanted other people around me to get healthy too. I was tired of seeing people who were continuously getting sicker and sicker and sicker, and I knew I had the answers, but it was just getting over that hump of eating something that isn't going to make us feel like, oh, we're eating rabbit food or we're eating rocks and grass. I needed to get over that, and I finally discovered that we can use meat substitutes, meat to transition off a meat-centered diet. Even if it's a few days a week, you say you have a burger, substitute it with a veggie burger. You have a steak, substitute it with a veggie steak. Like this morning, my breakfast was what would otherwise you would think was a sausage McMuffin, but I had this wonderful, meatless, fiber-rich, high-protein sausage patty made from vegetable sources, and I had a spelt organic English muffin. I didn't have any cheese, or I would have had it if I had some vegan cheese that I like, but I just put some hot sauce. It was wonderful. I feel great. I have sustained energy. There's no high and low. And so I show people that we can do this. We don't have to change our diet. We don't have to change our lifestyle. It's actually go ahead.
No, so you can still have what you're really craving, so to speak, or you can still have, like you said, a sausage McMuffin. But a lot of people that I know that have become vegans or have become vegetarians, it's because of their love for animals. And I know we have a statistic in the United States: 10 billion animals each year are raised and slaughtered on farms, so we can eat them.
Yes.
And billions more are sea animals. Talk to us about that.
Right. Well, my initial reasons for becoming a vegetarian was for health reasons. As I mentioned, my back was against the wall. But as soon as I started learning about karma and about the suffering that animals undergo, it's switched to spiritual and karmic reasons. There's a movie that is an Academy Award nominated documentary. It's called Food Inc. And if you want to lift up to show the camera, but many people are aware of it. It's a famous documentary, and it exposes behind the scenes the truth of how these animals are raised. And it's just, even the Pope Benedict had recently spoken out about he must have seen Food Inc. because
I've seen
his
this.
comments
I've only seen half of it because I actually had to shut it off.
Right. I mean, it shows you that we think, oh, we're eating this chicken, and it might have been freely ranging, getting sunshine. It's brought up in such horrible conditions. John Robin, the author of Diet of a New America, I hear that he took the great French chef Julia Child into a factory farm where veal was raised, and even she said after she saw it, I will never eat veal again. And I believe she actually never did, and maybe even never even cooked it. So there's so much animal abuse, and we have to realize that we're not only we eat the animals, we kill them, and then when we eat them, we kill ourselves.